Hello guys! Welcome back to our channel. Welcome back to Magical Moments. If you're new here, my name's Allison and my husband Trent is not here with us. He is not going to be in this video because this video is all about the Disney College Program. He didn't do the Disney College Program, I did. I think we'll make some videos of like what life was like for him back in Tennessee while I did it, and like how we handled it, how we did the short-term long distance thing and all of that. But for today, I'm just talking about my Disney College Program experience. It was the best 4 months of my entire life, and I have a lot to say, so I think this will be kind of a series. And the reason we're doing this is because, if you didn't know, Disney announced a couple weeks ago that they are bringing back the Disney College Program. So last year, all of the DCP participants were sent home. The program was canceled for the fall season, the spring season, and they just announced that they are bringing it back. So if you're out there and you're like me, trying to decide whether or not you should do the DCP and you're looking for an honest opinion and overview of what that experience looks like, then you found the right video. I will kind of throw out a disclaimer. I did do the Disney College Program back in 2017, so that was spring of 2017, so that was 4 years ago. So it won't really be tips and tricks for how to, you know, get into the Disney College Program, or I don't know, just like tips and tricks of the Disney College Program. More of like an overview of what the experience is like, because the experience that I had is still relevant to what you may experience if you choose to do the Disney College Program, which I hope that you do. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. This is going to hopefully be a series, so today's just going to be an overview of the DCP, like the basic facts of when I did it, what I did. In the next few videos, I want to walk you through some of my favorite DCP moments, what I really think about working for the company, lifeguarding on the Disney College Program, what that was like, and different components of the DCP, but today is just an overview of that. So, in case you're out there and you're wondering,
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri doesn't understand what we're talking about. Well, don't worry, Siri. I will explain to you what the DCP is. So if you have no idea what the Disney College Program is and you just watch us because you know us or for fun, the Disney College Program is a paid internship that people can participate in while they are in college or right after they have graduated. So you do have to be enrolled in some sort of college in order to participate in this. They have it in the Orlando area and they have it in California. I don't really know about international, what they do, but they do have it in California. The California program is very small. The DCP in Orlando is quite a bit larger. Sometimes you can get college credit for it. It depends on your major and your college. For example, my friend Abby also did it with me. She got college credit and I did not. I don't know, I got some kind of like co-op credit, but it didn't count towards anything because my major was education and it had nothing to do with education. So just be aware of that. Typically it does take up a whole semester of your time. So you can either do it in the fall season or the spring season. I chose the spring season because I didn't want to miss any of the holidays. And I heard that you had to work a lot more during the fall season. And so I was like, spring season sounds perfect for me. So anyways, typically as a DCP participant, you are doing roles like lifeguarding, quick service food and beverage, merchandising. You can be in entertainment, attractions, custodial. Basically, it's just all of like the, I don't want to say lower end jobs, but like maintenance jobs almost. Like you're not involved in the corporate side at all. So you're not like majoring in business and going to work for Disney and doing businessy things. Instead, you might major in business and then be a lifeguard. So it doesn't matter what your major is, you can participate in this. However, just know you're not working with the corporate side. There are other programs for that once you complete your first Disney College Program. However, that's not what the first one is for. You are basically like low man on the totem pole when you do the Disney College Program. However, it's still a great experience and it looks really good on a resume. I've had several different job interviews since doing the program, and in every single one of them, they've asked me about my time at Disney. So it looks great on a resume. You're working for one of the most renowned companies in the world and one of the most successful companies. So why else would you not do it? Okay, so when I did the program, I have my notes right here. I applied for the Disney College program in August of 2016. My friend Abby and I actually applied together, and we both got accepted at different times and for different roles, different arrival dates. Throughout the whole like preparing for the application process and the interview process, Abby and I kept these journals, which are so cute. Mine said "Live Your Dream," which was just perfect. She actually picked these up and gave me this one. We would stay up all night taking notes. I even have, like, you can tell, I have little tabs here telling me like what notes to refer to, like for the original application, for the web-based interview, for the phone interview. Yeah, we basically like went crazy over this, but it worked. We both got accepted, and my program started January 17th, 2017, and it ended May 18th, 2017. Yeah, so my program was only about 4 months. I did have the option to extend about midway through my program. However, I chose not to. I'll get into that a little bit later. So the application process. Back in 2016 when I applied, the application process was a little intense. I had known several people who had applied and got in on the first try, and then several people who would be perfect for the company, like, not get it. And for me, it was really just, I only had one semester that I could do it because of the way that my college experience was playing out and the way that my like academics was working out. And so I had one chance, and I knew going into college I wanted to apply for this, and I prepared and prepared and prepared. And it was kind of just like an all or nothing thing. Like, if I got in, I'm doing it, I'm excited. If I didn't, then that was it. I would never do the Disney College program. So, basically, you first submit, applications dropped on like August 15th, 2016. They drop and you apply, you get to rank what roles that you'd want to do. You submit your resume, just normal application stuff. Because then they select you to either go onto the web-based interview or not. After that, the web-based interview is just like, it was a lot of questions about like your work ethic, how you would react in certain situations. You weren't actually talking to anyone, you were literally just like, it was like multiple choice. And then once you pass that, you schedule your phone interview. The phone interview I had like super early in the morning, right before school. I was freaking out, I was so nervous. I had watched so many videos of people having their interview, and I would write down their questions, I would write down their answers, I studied, I practiced, all of that. And it took, I guess all of that happened within a week in August, and I didn't get accepted until end of September. So that was a huge waiting game. I was already like signing up for classes for the next semester, not knowing what I was doing. It was super intense, but I did get accepted, and here we are now, 4 years later. So, living space. I lived in a 3-bedroom unit in Patterson Court with 5 other girls. So there were 6 of us total. We wanted to live in the Commons, but we got Patterson instead. And honestly, none of this is even relevant because Disney has now sold those apartments as of a couple months ago. This was filmed in June of 2021, and those apartments are no longer available to you, which I'm super jealous. You guys, if you are interested in doing the Disney College program now, you have the option to live in their new complex called Flamingo's Crossing. It's a huge complex. I haven't been there. I want to sneak into there. I want to go. It's super, super freaking nice. Way nicer than the apartments we had. But Basically, I lived in a 3-bedroom apartment. There were 2 girls to each bedroom, so it's kind of like sharing dorms. And it was great. If you want to see what our apartment looked like, just for fun and giggles and whatnot, I'll link a video to my roommates. I'll link down below. I will put a link to my roommate's video. She actually vlogged the entire time we were on the DCP, so she has a lot of good content if you're interested in checking those out. I'll link them below, but maybe I'll put in a few clips of our apartment and some pictures of what the room looked like. But I mean, it was just your average apartment. It wasn't super nice, but we did what we could with it, you know? Like I said before, I lived with 5 other girls. You had to have the same arrival and departure date in order to live together, and that's why me and Abby couldn't live together. Plus, we were besties. We kind of just assumed that, like, if we go down there, if we go to Florida and we each make our own friends, then, like, our friends would be their friends, and, you know, we just would have a bigger circle, more connections that way. And truly, I had never lived outside of my parents' house before, and I knew that if I went down there and was living with someone that I knew really well and that was my best friend, then I would not branch out ever. I would only rely on her. And so we decided that it was best if we did not live together, and we are both so glad, so happy that we made that decision, because we both made some amazing friends with our roommates out of that. Basically, once you've decided on your arrival and departure date, and I'm sure it's the same way now, there's different Facebook groups, and you go in there, they have roommate surveys to fill out, and basically it's kind of like online dating. Like, you have a bio and you like see what other people are interested in, and you try to find people who are similar to you or who you think might be a good match for you. And then we all just like messaged each other on Facebook, and we were like, oh my gosh, you watch Big Brother? Me too. You like blueberry smells? Me too. Let's be roommates. It took me about 2 to 3 weeks to find the initial 4 other girls, and then we had our 5th roommate, McKenna, come in later. So I lived with McKenna, Mallory, Ellie, Katie, and Caitlin. Caitlin was my in-room roommate. She was the one that I shared a room with. So back in 2017, we were able to request all 6 of us be together. I know in programs since then, like, they haven't been as lucky. They've only been able to request 1 other roommate, and then they've had random ones. I don't know how they're doing it now, especially with all of the new COVID safety protocols and vaccinated versus unvaccinated, how they're splitting them up. I don't really know what they're doing, and I'm sorry that I can't be much more help there. We got really lucky, and I really just think that it was a God thing for me, because I prayed to get into the Disney College program, and then I prayed so hard that I would find my best friends on this program, that I would just have the best experience. Like, whether I found my best friends through roommates, through coworkers, I asked God directly, you know, make it a good experience. Please make sure, like, I make friends. And that's what happened. It was the best living situation I could have ever asked for. We're still best friends to this day. We've now had, how many weddings? We've had 2 weddings together, and we have 2 more coming this year where we have all been bridesmaids in each other's weddings. And it truly just was an answered prayer for me. Those girls are so special to me, and we have had many Disney trips since then, and we have another one planned for August. And yeah, I love those girls so much. I could talk about them all day, and you guys will get to meet them when we go on that Disney trip. We'll vlog the whole time, and I'm sure that you'll fall in love with them just as much as I have. So those girls are my entire heart, and I'll make more videos where I talk about our relationship and some of our fun times together later. So stay tuned for that. So let's talk about working. My role on the Disney College program was lifeguarding. I had previously been a lifeguard in Tennessee. That may have made a difference why they hired me for that. Lifeguarding is one that they always need a lot of people for, and so it was a high demand role, And although like I ranked it kind of low on my list, they still placed me there. I also worked with people who had never been a lifeguard before, and they placed them there just because they were like, oh yeah, I'm open for it. Yeah, it was a okay job. I think the lifeguarding role really depends on what you make it out to be and then where you get placed. And I got very lucky to get placed at the Wilderness Lodge, which is a Magic Kingdom resort area. It's a deluxe resort. It was so nice. It was so beautiful, and I worked with great people. My leaders were great. My coworkers were great. It was just a great experience for me. The amount, so like I said, it doesn't really matter if you've been a lifeguard before or not. You can still get cast as that. The amount of training you do for that role makes you prepared. We spent about the first 3.5 weeks just training before we were ever released to like actually be alone and work on the job. And it may have actually even been longer. I'll have to go back and look. And I can make a whole other video on this if you want. And basically, training started the day we checked in. I had to take a drug test that day because it's a safety role. And then I had to take a swim test the next morning, just like a basic swim test to make sure like I could swim 1 lap. And then after that, you began training, and you had many more tests after that, including written test, swim test, situational test, a test at your resort, a test here and there and there and there and there and there, and it was just a lot. And then even after that, you had to do 2 in-service trainings a month. So it was 4 hours of in-service training every month. So yeah, it's definitely just, it's not an easy role, and it was a very active role. My Fitbit would tell me that I would walk around 7 miles every shift, and you're working about 35 to 40 hours a week, which brings me to my next topic, which is scheduling, working, what that looked like. So I think one of the biggest reasons people get disappointed with their college program experience is that they think it's going to be like all fun and games, and you get to go to the parks anytime you want and make all these magical memories, which is a part of it. Like you can go to the park whenever you're off, free admission, you get discounts. However, you're working around 40 hours. In the beginning, I was working 40 to 42 hours every week. I was doing 4 10-hour days, and then I'd have 3 days off. And then towards the spring, I was doing, it was like 7 or 8 hour days, and then I would have 2 days off. So, I mean, you work a lot. It's hard work, and depending on your location, like you could be working until 2 a.m. or you could be going into work at like 4 a.m. I had 2 roommates that had shifts like that, and you know, one would be leaving to go to work as the other one is coming home, and it's just, you never know what you're gonna get placed with. So make sure that you know you will be working a lot, but having that expectation of knowing that I was going to work a lot really saved my experience, I think. So I worked at the Wilderness Lodge. It's beautiful. I could take a boat ride to Magic Kingdom after work if I wanted to. I could see the fireworks every night. It was just, I could not have gotten luckier. And again, I really just think that was because I hardcore prayed for that to happen. This was a pretty demanding job. Disney doesn't take the safety of their guests very lightly, and so you were always like being tested by your supervisors, or you're being tested by the actual Ellis training people, which is like the program they use to train you. That's how you get certified. Basically, like, you had to do your job or else you'd get in trouble. Like, you were always being watched, always being tested, and some might think that's a little intense, but it's an intense job. I mean, you're guarding. A lot of parents just bring their kids to the pool and then leave. So you're watching these kids who may or may not know how to swim and whatnot. But I loved it personally. I loved being outside. I loved not being in the park. And I can make a whole other video on lifeguarding and pros and cons of that if you want me to. But that's kind of a little overview of where I worked. So Which brings me to my last point, which is my overall experience. Did it live up to my expectations? As I already said, you have to go into your Disney college program with the right mindset. If you think that you're just going to go down there and play all the time, you're going to be very upset and very miserable when you get down there and realize that you're working like 10 to 12 hour days and you're exhausted. I think me and all my roommates knew that's what it was going to look like, and then we still kind of made this vow to each other that we were still going to experience the magic as much as possible together. And so that's what we did. We would go into the parks before work, we'd go into the parks after work, we'd go into the parks on our days off. We really spent a lot of time soaking up the magic and doing what we could while we had the time that we did. I absolutely loved my experience. It was the best 4 months of my entire life. It made me a happier person. It made me a better person in my career, in my education, in my personal life. The way I interacted with people changed. The way I viewed just a normal day changed, because I would look for ways to make magic in every day. And that's not the same for everyone. I worked with people that I really loved that went home early. They just didn't love it. I think overall I got very lucky with, it was kind of the perfect storm of having great roommates, having a great place to work, and great coworkers, you know, like it was a good job. I would give anything to go back and relive so many of those days. The entire program, I actually kept this journal and I wrote in it every single day. My friend Rachel actually got it for me, which is what made it so special. She said, write down those good days, bad days, and everything in between so we can all hear about it. And so that's exactly what I did, starting with the day we drove down there on January 16th, all the way until the very end of the program. So I really want to make another video where I go through here and read you some of my favorite days, some of my favorite memories, just because it's truly just one of my favorite things to look at. It's one of my most treasured possessions. So with all of that being said, there are still hard days. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. At the end of the day, you're the last man on the totem pole. You're kind of the last priority, and they're not out to make sure that you're having a good time. They're out to make sure you are providing services to the company and that their company looks the best that it can. So hopefully you're in a location with leaders who inspire you and work with you and are nice to you. But that's not always the case. Just because you're working for Disney doesn't mean that you're always going to experience the magic as a worker. And I understand that, you know, as magical as it may sound to work for Disney, sometimes that's just not the case based on the people that you're working with. On the opposite of that, I will say you do get to work for Disney. Like, regardless of what the people around you act or do, you are getting to make magic for guests, whether it's just calling a little girl a princess or surprising this boy with a balloon because you saw the button that said it was his birthday. Regardless, like, you get to make these little memories for these kids and these adults who have spent so much time and money preparing for this. Every day I just would think about, like, me coming to the park as a little kid and the things that cast members would do. Like, they would act like the magic is real and that, you know, Mickey is actually telling me happy birthday or something silly like that. And I tried to do that every day that I went into work, and it honestly, even when I was having a bad day, I would find a way to make magic or make a memory for someone, and it would turn your day around. You have the opportunity to make someone feel really, really special, and I don't feel like that's an opportunity that you get when you're working normal jobs or not for Disney. Yeah, you do get to go to the parks for free, you do get to have a great time, and I feel like the program really lived up to my expectations because I spent so much time looking into it. And so if you're on the fence and you're someone who has never experienced something like this, set yourself up for success by watching more videos like this, by looking into what the program will consist of, by looking into what your role will consist of, because it's important to know what you're getting into before you go down there so that you're not disappointed. But overall, the Disney College Program is just a wonderful, wonderful experience. I highly suggest, highly recommend it. Yeah. Other than that, if you guys have any questions about the Disney College Program, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I would love to talk to you about it. If you need any advice on your Disney College Program, let me know. I would love to give it to you. I would love to chat with you about this. Again, like I said, I'm going to make another video where I'm talking more about my roommates and all the magic I got to make and some of my favorite memories. But for now, this was just an overview of the Disney College Program. So maybe Trent will be with me in the next video. Maybe I won't be on the bedroom floor. Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you guys for tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like button and that subscribe button because it really, really, really helps us. We're trying to grow our channel so that we can do more of what we love, which is go to Disney, make Disney videos, and share it with you. So yeah, thank you guys for watching and tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye guys.